All right,
Yeah.
let's talk Blackbird. Blackbird's an Apple TV limited series, just one season thing, 6 episodes. It's actually free right now. If you're listening, go check it out. I think all you need is an Apple account and go watch it. So,
Yeah, and it is
because I
free. You
did
don't
not have
even
Apple
need to be
TV.
subscribed at the moment.
Yeah, let me give you a synopsis. Hear the synopsis, decide whether or not you want to stay or go, but we're going to go right into spoilers right after. Jimmy Keene is sentenced to 10 years in a minimum security prison, but he cuts a deal with the FBI to befriend a suspected serial killer. Jimmy has to elect a confession from Larry Hall to find the bodies as many as 18 women. Jeez, 18. I thought they said at the end it was 15.
Yeah, 15 is what they got him
It says
for.
18 on IMDb. Blame IMDb. Let's see. And it's got a really good Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a 97% by critics and a 95% by audiences.
Well deserved for sure.
Also, should note that this is based on true events. Should say
Yes.
that as well. That
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I'm
was
not
cool
sure the
at the end.
exact
They put
accuracy.
the picture of the two, like the real Jimmy and the real Larry, which was sick.
Yeah.
And then I
So it
looked
was
up
good.
online the other day the other comparisons, and it was like, all right, like not bad casting.
Did you watch a bunch of YouTube videos? Or I mean, you just finished it, so you probably
Yeah, I
haven't yet.
literally just finished it like
Yeah. So
tonight.
I mean, I would like to hear your thoughts on it since you're the most refreshed person on it.
All right,
What do
so
you think?
going into this, I think I've already said this numerous times on here. I'm like huge into true crime, and
I knew
Larry
you'd like
Hall.
this.
Yeah, Larry Hall has actually never came across any of the stuff that I've listened to.
And that's
So-
crazy. I hate to cut you off, but I do the exact same thing. I literally
Yeah.
go on Kicks, and I've never heard
Mhm.
of this one before.
No,
So it's
no,
always
never,
good,
like, I
having
could tell
something
you
fresh to
about
read
random ass people in Russia that the last podcast is covered, but like they've never talked about this one. Maybe like sometimes they don't like to touch the shit like when it's like this, where it gets brought into the limelight because of a TV show, then they're kind of like, don't want to mess with that. So maybe that's a factor to it. But yeah, no, I had never heard of this case, nothing like that. So you get into this movie, dude, and or this show, sorry, this mini series, because it comes out to 6 episodes, hour apiece. You're getting into it, dude, and it does feel like a mini movie. It reminded me of fucking what's the movie with Mark Wahlberg where the girl's like dead but she's alive? Lovely Bones. It almost reminded me of Lovely Bones, the way that they started it off. And what I really liked is instantly you come in and it's Jimmy, who is played by I just looked him up today. Josh, help me.
Taron Egerton.
Yes.
Guy from Kingsman.
Eggsy? Yeah, Eggsy
Yeah.
from Kingsman.
So good, man.
And
Right when I
Elton
saw
John
him, I'm
from
like, no
Rocketman.
way.
So instantly you start off and you hear about the butterfly effect, and the butterfly effect was like one of the craziest things of my young mind to find out when I was like 17. It's like, oh fuck, everything's connected, bro. But for him to start like that and then to wrap at the end, and the whole time you're following what was her name? Eladin? Sarah? What was the girl's name? Sarah Rose? Something like that.
I don't remember.
I think
Holy shit.
Roach is the girl with the clothes that gets folded. The
Okay.
earring goes ripped out.
Okay, well then
I
you're
don't remember what
following
the first girl's name
You're
is.
following this girl on the bike and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you get to episode 5, dude, and that mechanic guy was like, yeah, we like Larry came around a lot, and we'd have to like kick him out after a while because he'd just be doing weird shit. And he gave a gift to the daughter, and it was the fucking bike, that we kept seeing in the shot. So it's one of those.
And then we see the
moments-
flashback of her getting it for birthday.
it's one of those fucking moments where it's like we know something that they don't. And it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And the way that and so the way everything worked back then, like, you know how you see it throughout the show, how Larry got pulled over with like rope and birth control pills and fucking a knife and gloves and like cleaning supplies, and they didn't do anything about that. And that's
Which
because
makes no sense at all.
Yeah, so the thing is, when it comes to the real heavy hitters, like our Dahmers that were around, our Bundys that were around, our fucking Night Stalker, like these guys were able to operate because it was bad police work all fucking around. You have people like the special agent that was actually on top of the shit, but
As hell.
and both of them were on top of their shit. And the thing is though, is that if the bad police work gets brought up, because now it's like you had this dude pinged here, a person went missing here, he had all this shit on him, but you guys were like, oh, Larry's just a goofball.
Yeah,
And-
it's just a silly goose.
And so it's crazy to see it.
Oh, he's just a weirdo.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see it in this front, like in this way, because now we have to go as far as having someone in prison get transferred and go talk to this guy because they know that he did it. They got him to admit to 2 of them, but they know that there's way fucking more, and they have no body. They have like no way to link him. So I thought that was really fucking cool. I also thought it was really fucking cool. R.I.P. to one of the goats, Ray Liotta.
Yep.
It was cool to see him in this.
That's
This is
his
the
last thing that he
thing.
played in.
Yeah, this is the last
Apparently, he's an
thing.
unknown character in Cocaine Bear, but yeah, it's
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
which we're gonna do a review on. But like, I feel like this probably was, dude. It was so sad seeing him too. But he did a great job.
And again, what sucks is we're watching him and he's playing Big Jimmy, and Big Jimmy's having strokes and fucking like damn near dying, like watching it.
That's what I'm like, dude. This shit looks like too realistic.
Yeah, and again, it was hard to watch at a certain point because you know that Ray Liotta's dead. And it's like, damn, like he's really good at acting, but now he's actually dead. Like that's fucked.
No, it's fucked.
But yeah, all in all, this show is fucking great. If you like true crime and you like good TV shows, this is the perfect fucking show for you. This gets the stamp of approval from me.
Apparently, real life Jimmy was an executive producer on this.
Good. And
Pretty
it was cool too. They put that tag right at the end that he still works with law enforcement to talk to fucking like criminals and work on like cases like this. Because again, I'm pretty sure this would be before like the BAU was a thing, the behavior analysis unit, like the whole thing that fucking Criminal Minds is based off of. That wasn't a unit yet, which also good time to plug Mindhunter. If you've never seen Mindhunter, that was the beginning of the BAU. Keep watching that
canceled
shit.
or no?
It got suspended indefinitely because David Fincher doesn't want to go back to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's a Netflix show, right?
Yeah, it's one of the best Netflix shows ever fucking made, and of course they
What about
like,
Stranger Things?
I put this over Stranger Things. I'm not even gonna lie.
Outer Banks?
Fuck Outer
Oh,
Banks.
day shift.
Wednesday?
Wednesday. I never watched Wednesday. I can't really.
Day
touch
shift?
it on that. Day shift.
Yeah, what about Day Shift?
Daylight.
No, but I want to go in now because, like I said, my buddy, before you guys even announced it, I remember I sent it in the group. I just saw it, and then literally the day after, my buddy's like, "Hey, you guys should do Blackbird on Apple TV on your podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, like I'll look into it."
I know. I remember actually you sent that the next day, and me being
And then
hardcore
you
into any of the
Snapchatted
Apple TV shows. I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And I watched all 6
Yeah, and then-
episodes.
then
Yeah, and then
watched it.
Andrew
I'm like, was
texted.
it any
Andrew
good?
texted literally the next day and goes, "We got to
It's
do
like, "All right,
Blackbird."
we're doing it.
And then he's like, "Does nobody read my text?" And then like a day later, I text and goes, "You guys ever watch Blackbird on Apple TV?"
No, but I mean, dude, you got to think like take into consideration like not a lot of people are. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are going to see this, but not a lot of people that we know that we can talk to have seen this show. And I hope that us putting this out, like more people going and
Get
Yeah,
to
watch it
and
from
I,
start to finish.
and I mean, I get it. This is the biggest gripe with it is that it's Apple TV, and I get it because if it wasn't for you guys always recommending these great banger of the shows, like I would have never bought a subscription for Apple TV. What the fuck am I gonna do with that?
Well, this
But
one
now
is
that-
free. It's
Yeah,
free right
yeah.
now.
So you can
This
watch
and
this
Severance.
I was gonna say you can watch
Yeah.
this
Two
and
best
Severance
shows
for
on there.
free.
Ted
So,
Lasso too.
Get your ass to it. Yeah, Ted Lasso takes the cake. for
Ted
his
Lasso
best.
isn't free, but it is. I'm saying it's one of the
Uh-huh.
best on there. But
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, from whatever, when we go in and we get introduced to Jimmy Keene, who's played by Taron Egerton, off bat,
Future
I'm like-
Superman.
I'm like, no way, bro. Like last thing I saw him was in Kingsman. Great
Mhm.
ass, great
Yeah,
actor.
He's
great actor.
Elton John too.
Yeah, and then I guess Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Larry,
Mhm.
dude, like
Larry's in his bag.
the
this
voice,
year.
dude, the
he
voice
won
he
an
did.
award. I don't know what kind of
Mhm.
award he won, but he just won like a decent award
Nice.
So yeah, let me
for
comment
that
on
character.
the last episode when they're in the like pump
shop?
room or wood shop. Yeah, maintenance. Sorry, the wood
The
shop.
boiler room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they're in the woodshop.
and you kind of get to hear Larry realizing that he knows what he did and he's okay with
Yeah.
it. I was
Yeah,
genuinely
bro.
scared at that point when he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I
Well,
know. I need to get out."
You
And I'm like,
know,
"Whoa."
He wants to keep committing it.
you know
Yeah.
what scene really got me, and I was hooked on this guy as him being a good actor, was when he goes, you do things to him, and he goes, Jimmy's like, I don't know what you're talking about, what kind of things? And then he goes, like his voice like cuts in like he's a demon, just goes things. And it's just like,
No.
oh fuck, I'm watching this at midnight, just like, god damn.
It definitely was uneasy, man. You're watching, you're like, holy fuck. But that guy, you got to give it to him
Yeah,
because
dude, give
like,
that
he
dude
sells
some
it.
flowers.
He was
fucking
awesome in
deserves
sells
this.
it. And I don't think there's like, and it's very hard for like an actor to go that deep without even any experience. He has no
Yeah,
experience. of
this
being,
isn't
like, a
this
weirdo
isn't
and
like
shit
even
like that.
comparable to fucking like Evan Peters. You know, Evan Peters
Yeah,
had
like-
his whole background with fucking American Horror Story, so
Mhm.
he's done roles like this. And again, not to discredit him because he did play, and I hate saying this, played a good Dahmer.
Well, he
I
won an
don't-
award for
Well,
Dahmer.
so many people played Dahmer too, so it's like you could
Yeah,
compare.
yeah. But no, it was cool to see this guy come out, and I haven't really seen him in anything. See him to come out and fucking just kill it, dude. He's selling
Yeah,
it. Like
Scared
I
the shit out of me.
guarantee.
If I saw that dude in real life, I'd literally
Well,
tell him,
that's
"Get
what
the
I'm
fuck away
saying
from
because
me."
I'm guaranteeing he's probably a cool ass fucking dude.
Yeah, he
But
is. I've
because
seen
of this,
interviews with him.
because of this role, like, ugh. I
I
don't
don't know.
that's-
It's definitely he gives you the
That
the
sixth
ick,
episode
and
when
that's
he like is real, like I said, realizing, I don't know if it
Mhm.
was because it was 4 or 5 in the morning and I was finishing the show, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I might want to
But
turn on
even
a light
that
or
that final
something."
episode is great when he like when Jimmy starts going in on him, like, you'll never get out of
Yeah,
here.
he's
Like,
grilling
you're,
him.
you're gonna go to jail
Mhm.
for life. And he's like, he set you up on this, like all that shit. And then he
Yeah.
just his demeanor just flips.
What
Yeah,
were,
well, and don't forget the part where they arrest him because he's starting to sound crazy, and he's just
yeah,
and he
I
actually
was gonna
sounds
bring that
crazy
up.
because
Mhm.
he's just rambling off numbers, and it's
Yeah.
like that was his one safe key that was supposed to save him, and like
Yeah.
everyone's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this guy's losing it."
So, and Andrew, we've talked about this before about how one of my biggest fears is like a false imprisonment type thing to where everyone thinks I'm fucking crazy, but like I know what's going on. That's one of my biggest fears. And to see that come true on here, I fucking hated it. I
I know,
hated
me
it because
too.
I was like, why the fuck would you even trust these people, Jimmy? Like, you knew some shit like this was gonna happen, and then all the fucking doctor has to say is she's gonna be what is the exact word? He says something about like we're gonna review her and try to punish her for her like ethics here. And it's just like, I mean, I get it, she's doing her job, but at the same time, quit being a bitch. Like Jimmy didn't harm him or anything. Jimmy was just talking to the guy, and she's all worried about this fucking actual serial killer. Like as if
Yeah,
he doesn't know, like, because again, episode 6 too, Andrew, I don't know if you remember, is where he's talking about her fucking kids to her and about her kids like bending over and watering the flowers and shit. And then she goes and protects him 20 minutes later. And it's like, no, like you
Yeah.
had the wrong man. And then nobody would give him a pencil, which I guess I get it, because if you're in solitary, you have a pencil, you just can fucking get yourself. I get that, but if he would have just been like, let me call the warden or like rattled off that number again instead of saying the shit about the FBI, I feel like it would have gone better. But again, you're in
yeah, because
solitary.
he just started to sound crazy at that
Yeah,
point, and they
he
were like,
looked
"Don't you
fucking
ever say that."
batshit. Yeah,
So
that was
my number one
hated
favorite part
that.
about this entire show from start to finish would be that there's so many different stories going on at once that it just makes it 10 times better. You got to take into consideration that you get his parents' side of the story, how his dad is like on like going through it because he thinks that it's his fault that he's in jail for selling drugs and all that, and then it comes to the realization where he's a cop and he's gonna help him out and do all this. Where you have Jimmy going from prison to a psych ward like type prison, like that
Mhm.
kind of thing, going undercover, and then you have the best story in my opinion, which is it's actually on the fence between the FBI agents doing their thing, building the story and the case from behind to make sure that they can bust them for something and make sure
Yeah,
that,
like that way something Jimmy gives them, it can like be
Yeah.
plausible and be like, fuck yeah,
and
we got it.
then the other
Yeah.
part is the internal story of the prison guards. And
Dude, the
Ooh.
fucking guard pissed
dude.
me
It's
off.
so good.
But you know what
When
pissed me
you
off
think
even
he's
more
on
than the
his
guard?
Yeah, and then he just
Yeah.
snaps like that, and then you think that the
Yeah.
Italian dude's gonna take him out and shit.
Mhm.
Like it's like, oh,
No, but you know what scene pissed me off the most out of all 6 episodes came from episode 4, I believe, where it shows Jimmy after his stepdad beat the shit out of him, and his mom was just like, "You were asking for it, like
Yeah, that
it's
was
not your
awful.
fight." She goes, "It's your fight, but not right now. You
it's
need
just
to
like, one day
train."
you whoop his ass.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like, who the fuck as a mom does that?
Awful.
Would
And
say
then that's
that,
the thing is he
it's
can't do
horrible.
anything because he's
And
a little
then
kid.
and then he has to sit there and listen to his mom get fucking banged out like right after. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? How can you like just send him to Big Jimmy? Because Big Jimmy will whip the shit out of him the way that your boyfriend or
But he didn't.
stepdad,
His dad didn't want
whatever
anything
it
to do
is.
with them.
Yeah, I know, dude. And
So, I
that
mean,
shit,
that's the other
or
thing
when
is,
you're
like-
sitting there watching him as a kid and the days are going by because
Looking
Big
out the
Jimmy
window, it's
leaves.
awful,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, I fucking felt so bad for this kid. But then at the same time, it's like, I kind of fuck with Jimmy. Like, even Jimmy selling drugs was cool.
Yeah.
His
I mean,
boy
it's just like-
Danny just fucked things up for him. Or Donnie. Was it Danny or Donnie? One
But
of the
that's what
two.
I like because you got to think like from that first episode. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't watch the trailer. Didn't watch anything.
Mhm.
I just go in and like, even when we all started, like you keep seeing that flashback of that bike going down the trail, and it's like,
Yep.
oh shit, is he like a hire like an assassin? And he's gonna go kill this innocent girl because he's like, I have no correlation to this story, but you'll find out, or like something like that. Remember, he
Yeah.
narrates that, and then it's just like you have no idea what you're getting into.
Mhm.
Then that second episode goes, you're like, oh shit. Or at the end of
Yeah.
the first, you're like, oh, there's a serial killer that goes around and he's just a weird fuck that he's getting
Yeah.
away with it, even though he's 100% guilty and he's admitting to it.
Mhm. Yeah, and then it's crazy too. You get they again for each episode only being an hour and only 6 episodes. They gave us so fucking much, and it was cool. So you see Larry getting dragged out of bed because quote from his dad, Gary doesn't piss the bed, so Larry, you're coming with me. And he makes Larry dig up the grave, fucking grave rob all these people that they just buried that
Chopping
day.
fingers off.
Yeah,
shit
and
as
then
a
he had to
little
cut
kid.
the
Fuck.
finger off, and then he keeps the finger like a fucking weirdo. And the dad just doesn't think anything of it.
What's the thing? His dad's a weird fuck too.
Yeah, because
And
his
he
dad,
knew
his
about it.
dad burned the map at the end.
Yeah.
That shit would threw me for a loop. I was like, "You
Oh.
dickhead!" See, I thought it was gonna be. You ever
More like
watch?
Dahmer, where he's like, maybe
No,
I did
no.
fuck up.
I thought it was gonna be more like you ever watch the Unabomber show? They did like a dramatic version of it on Netflix. And in that one, they like bring in the brother, and that's actually how they caught Ted Kaczynski, the fucking Unabomber, because the brother like recognized his fucking writing and like his handwriting and shit. And I thought it was gonna be like that. Like I thought Gary was gonna intercept the package and just be like, fuck, man, like I did this. And then on top of that, though, because right before the map is sent to the family, that's when we have the fucking sit down with the FBI agents, and Gary lays it out. All right, here's what happened. We picked up a hitchhiker, and I believe her name
Yeah.
was Susan. And again, we hear about this in episode 2 of the Susan character, this hitchhiker that they picked up, and you don't know what happened, and you don't think it's a victim because the brother was involved. What you find out though is that was like the awakening in Gary's eyes of Larry being a fucking monster, because Larry is in there just fucking like not only raping this girl but just abusing the shit out of her.
Yeah, I think that's another great arc too. Is like Gary is 100% like, no, my brother's just a weirdo. Like he didn't hurt any of these girls, and then the detectives keep like inching in on him. Like they keep pushing it on him, and he's like dead set on like, no, you'll never get him. He didn't do anything wrong. Which you think that he knows that he's a murderer.
My
but he
dad
just
thought he
doesn't want to
was.
accept it.
My dad texted me after episode 4 and he's like, I think Gary's in on it.
Or yeah, you think that he's in on it. Maybe he's covering up for
See,
him.
now
But
I
then he
thought
comes to the realization
maybe-
like you sicko, like you need help.
Mhm.
You belong in here and all that, and that makes it great.
I liked that a lot, actually.
I thought
That's really
maybe, if anything, he didn't help along the way, but that first one he would have like helped bury her if she did die. But no, we know
Yeah.
that she left with the biker.
No, and you
Yeah,
could
it would've
tell
been-
too at the end of episode 6, like he blames himself for what his brother's done because he wasn't able to watch him. And I liked how like Janice, the FBI agents, like looked back at him and told him like, "Are you going to be able to watch your brother at all times forever for the rest of
Yeah.
your life?" I love
Yeah,
that.
and see, that's the thing too. Again, back to the idea of how the times were and how the police force never worked together, like at all. Like
Yeah.
now, I could fucking be wanted here all the way in fucking Grand Rapids, go back to Allen Park, and like on the way, someone could run my plate and be like, "Yo, this guy's got an outstanding warrant. Let's fucking pick him up." That's a normal thing that happens now. That was not the case. If Larry did get out at that time, then yeah, he would have gone right back to it and probably would have got caught later on down the line. But at that point, what, double his fucking body count Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was pretty intense when he explained what he did to that girl with the tree and
Oh
everything.
my
Yeah,
god.
that was hard to watch.
Dude,
Yeah, but
yeah,
what about the
so-
part where he goes to the antique shop and gives the girl a bike and he just keeps like stalking her, asking her questions and shit?
No, that too, but like when he's explaining it to Jimmy, like he's proud of it, like an accomplishment that he had.
Yeah, and because
Um,
what was crazy too at that same time is when they talk about Larry as how many like women that he's had sex with, and Jimmy's like, I don't know, like 80, give or take, like
80
5.
fucking look at me.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, but like, what do you get out of it? And he's like, what do you mean, like I get my nut? And it like because Larry's getting way more out of any of these, and again, he's not
He
even
thought wet
winning.
pussy was a rumor.
Oh my god,
he's
dude,
only, he's
that-
only getting
myth.
play from
he
Reddit.
goes, are they wet? Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, dude.
That was
Oh,
the nastiest part.
disturbing.
Like when he's saying that shit, it just makes you like.
but
blood
again,
boil,
and
man.
that
Like,
that's where the scene cuts into. He goes, things. And it's just like,
That's the
fuck,
thing, is,
man.
like, sometimes like when you're watching a show like this, you think like, oh, it's just a show. You're
Mhm.
like, no, this is based on a true story. This shit
Yeah.
actually happened.
People are
And they
that
still haven't
fucking
found any of those
demented.
bodies.
Dude, and the fact he tried to commit suicide too.
Yeah.
Fucking coward.
Just like,
Although,
fuck.
do you guys think he had like a split personality disorder? I feel like he definitely did, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
parts of it that he was
1,000,000,000%.
Okay.
That's a
Definitely,
common
but then
thing
again,
with,
like
like,
when he
serial
does
killers.
get caught, like he's still like he's conscious, like he knows that he's in.
No, but there seemed like there was two different versions of him at certain times. Like the
He's
one
still
that was
mentally
talking to
ill.
Jimmy.
Cause so like
Yeah.
they don't really talk about it. Like they hint at it. Like Dahmer couldn't kill anyone without being extremely fucking hammered to the point of blackout. Like
Yeah.
we see him wake up covered in blood and have to move the body because he blacked out drunk, didn't know what the fuck he did. So there's that example, or like I think even Bundy was on record saying like he blacked out like during a couple of his murders and like doesn't remember doing it, but he knows that he fucking did it.
Yeah.
And then like the idea of it being dreams, I think it was brought up by a different killer. I can't remember who. But yeah, dude, it's just fucking crazy to see that people can like switch up that fucking fast.
Yeah.
I think my favorite character out of all these, like, I mean, me personally, would be the detective, Greg Kinner. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
Yeah.
he does a great job
Mhm.
from like start to finish, just breaking down the case, and he's the only one that like actually solves it.
yeah, he's the only one that did good police work because he was
Yeah,
like,
he did.
why in the
Like-
fuck would you not like say any of this? And then on
Question.
top of that, on top
You
of that,
started thinking, sorry, real quick, Brian. You
you're
started
good.
thinking, or at least I did, that the police force was in on it.
again, because I've heard so much different shit at this point, I didn't think the police were on it, like in on it. I think they were just fucking ignorant, and that's what it came down
Yeah,
to.
I mean,
Horrifying.
and so
technology
like
wasn't as
when
advanced.
they go to the fucking gas station finally, because they said that Larry wasted their time going up and down the 500 route or 400 route, whatever the fuck it was, like 4 times. And they were like, nah, something's gotta fucking be here. Like what would it be? And then they were like, oh, this gas station looks new. It wasn't here fucking 2 years ago. Because it was 92 technically, but it was 94 at the time, like when they
Yeah.
were driving and the gas station was there. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
He's like, I like driving.
No, and it really breaks my heart that none of the girls have been found. And I know
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
was like really fucking upset about it at the end too.
Yeah,
So, I wonder how he like
all in
holds
all,
up after that.
how much did
Yeah.
he get cut off his 10-year sentence?
At all of it.
All of it.
No, but I mean, but like, how much did he do?
He only
do you
did like
mean?
2 or 3 years, I think.
Okay,
Was it even that?
I don't even think so.
I thought
I think it was
I
like 13
wasn't
months
sure.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I thought it was a
thought-
little over a year. Is what I thought.
it was.
There was
2.
nothing even like.
Okay.
It might have been 2 years, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
'Cause I think he was in
thought
jail
they
for a
said
year
13
before
months.
he went in to do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But
And
how
you gotta think he
weird is
wasn't
it?
in.
But how
Okay.
weird is it that, like, I mean, obviously they fluff it, like, regardless if it's Netflix, Apple TV, any of them, like, what's real and what's fake. And I've watched a few comparisons on YouTube, but those people on YouTube still don't know the real thing. Like,
It says based on
Jimmy
true
himself-
events too.
Yeah,
not
that's the
even
thing. So,
story.
like,
Yeah.
like, how was it where, how did he come to how did they come to him and be like, hey, we need you to go undercover?
Mhm.
And like you know, like they don't do that. And like you said, it's before they did that whole project or like firm or whatever you say, but when they would like study serial
Oh, the
killers,
behavior
like that.
analysis unit.
But then again, they wouldn't have even studied his behavior because he wasn't guilty.
Yeah.
So they would have never got to that
Well,
step.
like I could
That's
see
what they
things like
have to
I
do.
could see like the whole like his father plot, like him wanting to get out of prison faster so he could be with his dad before he died.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could see that all being fake. You know,
Yeah.
to real life and stuff like that. But I assume like getting the confession and obviously like them not finding the bodies is real. I feel like if this was like a completely made up story, they would have found the bodies at the end. So
But the other
it
thing
broke
is
my
like
heart, like I said, that
the body count in the show was a lot lower. They said it's like almost like 40, 50 girls that he killed.
Yeah.
And
So
like they just have no idea.
another comparison to a killer that this was reminding me of was fucking Ed Kemper. They called him Bumblebutt
yeah.
because he was just so fucking goofy. And that's the killer that they use in Mindhunter to start the BAU, to like study him and see like what they can get on him and to figure out why the fuck he would do the things that he did. And that's how it felt with this, because again, Ed Kemper was literally described as a bumblebutt. No one would like he would go and drink with cops and like say shit like this, and everyone would just blow up like, oh, that's just Ed
It's like
cracking
John Wayne
jokes.
Gacy, he was like he was successful like
Dude's a
in
clown.
politics and shit like that.
Yeah, he
Everyone
had a
loved him.
whole HVAC fucking company.
Brian, what
and
did you
shit.
think of the
Construction.
strat where he was literally trying to be framed as a murderer for a crime that he tried to play off like he didn't commit? Like, what did you think of all that?
Yeah, well, again, I forget. There's another killer that I read about or listened to a podcast about where they did that, and again, they do that, and then that's when the idea of a serial confessor comes around, which is a thing.
Yeah, wasn't there
And
an ice pick killer or the ice cream man? What was that one? You know that guy that would kill someone and then he'd cry and he was whining. He would like cry and like call and confess
yeah,
on
be
himself.
like, "There's
I
two
just killed
dead
someone."
bodies in the
Yeah.
alley. Yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
hate that. You ever
Creepy
listen to
fucker.
those
And
calls,
they're-
bro?
Dude, they're so
Those
creepy.
calls are terrifying.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
Jesus.
those are bad.
I just stabbed a woman in the neck with an ice pick, and he's saying it like while
Ugh.
he's crying and
Yeah,
whining.
and
Awful.
then like the worst part is he's not just like crying; he's like wailing on them. He's like,
Wailing, yeah.
"Ooh."
Yeah, it's
Oh, dude.
terrible. And they have them all recorded. It's insane.
It was
Yeah.
it confuses your emotions because you're sadness and sorrow, but they're clearly not. That's just like their split personality for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then again,
Or part of them's in
saw
pain.
you saw how
Yeah.
quickly he switched up on Jimmy and beasted the fuck out of him. Because
Even his
again,
brother.
he's a big fucking boy. He fucking dug graves his whole life. Like, yeah, he's got that farmer muscle to him, damn near, where it doesn't look like they got all that muscle on him. But then he's going up against Jimmy, who's like clearly got a decent physique. He's fucking working out in the fucking jail. Like, he's ready to go. And still, this dude was able to get the jump on him.
And Larry
Yeah.
was somewhat smart too. He was able to pick up if like Jimmy was kind of lying to him or
Mhm.
you
Well,
know.
he was really good at like reading the room. Like that's why he
Yeah.
didn't fuck with what was the detective's name? Greg.
Yeah.
He didn't fuck with him. He goes, I don't
Or
like
Brian's the killer.
Brian.
Miller.
Yeah, that's what it is, Brian Miller. And he's just like, I don't like your energy.
Dude,
Dude,
the cops
Because he's
in
figuring
that
it out.
the other
yeah,
detectives in that room were so fucking annoying when they weren't letting Larry speak.
yeah,
Brian,
bro.
like,
And
asked
then
his questions. I hated it.
you find out after all that they fucking had fucking Larry drive them around again.
Yeah.
Because they were like, fuck, like if the FBI is involved, maybe there is something like to go off of here, but they were so incompetent they couldn't fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And again, you could blame technology, or you could blame it on the fact that they were just shit at their job. Like Brian came in and was just like, yo, we have an issue. You guys have like could have prevented some of this shit, but now
And they
here
try to
we
take the
are.
credit for finding a serial killer.
Yeah, because they were
Yeah.
the first one on the news to
Yeah.
like announce it. It's like, you dickheads, like you didn't even know you had a case here.
Yeah. Terrible. They've pissed me off. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we can kind of get into scores for this show.
Normally,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say normally I go last, but I
Yeah,
will. I'll go first because
Okay.
I cranked through this show, and I don't have a ton to say other than I'll start it off and say the show is very good. It is free on Apple right now. You just need an account, so
insane.
check it out. After you watch this, go watch Severance and then subscribe and watch Ted Lasso. Use code Andrew for 10% off your Apple TV. Just kidding. It's not gonna work. But no, Apple, if you're listening, maybe can we get one of those or at least me?
No, use code SGP.
for 0.001% off.
Andrew, before you give your score, really quick, do you guys
Yeah.
think this would have worked as like a 2.5 hour movie?
Yes.
I think so. I thought about it. I'm
But
like,
see,
I think this
think
is
so,
not
but
working.
I
but
liked
again,
the
I
show.
love
I like the show, too.
all the detail, like Aiden said, they go into all these
Yeah.
different stories. I
You
think
get all the plot lines
that's
that you would
why
miss in a
6
movie.
hours worked here, and at no point did it feel like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, no,
Nope.
you were in it for the whole
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick before I go into scores, before you give your score, Andrew, and go in,
Uh-huh.
I was looking at Dennis Lehane, who wrote this wrote the story for Apple TV and Blackbird and all that. I'm looking into his portfolio. This motherfucker wrote Mystic River, Gone Baby Gone. These are novels.
Yeah.
He wrote Shutter Island. He wrote Gone Baby Gone, the movie.
The movie.
Then he wrote The Outsiders, which is another great ass HBO series. And
Yeah.
then he did this. And
So he's got a
also
hell of a
starred in
resume.
Shutter Island.
Yeah, good for that fucking guy. He's in his bag.
That's a hell of a resume there.
It's insane. The fact that he wrote Gone Baby Gone, Shutter Island, and
Yeah. So
Mystic
that
River.
should speak for itself if you're listening. Check this out.
Yeah.
I mean, we did just kind of spoil it, but it's based on true events. And I'll just be quick and to the point. Like I said, I think it's really good. I keep trying to push Apple content because like I said, I think I texted this in the chat. I said Netflix tends to put out things from great, something like Stranger Things, really good hit, to absolute garbage. The amount of things that I've started on Netflix where I just don't even finish it because I just
Classical.
don't care. Yeah, exactly. So where Apple tends to, I've come to notice, put out things that are great to okay. I haven't watched something on Apple yet where I'm like, oh, that was bad, or oh, I'm mad I wasted my time on that. Everything's been really good or okay. Because I've watched a couple other shows on there that were somewhat forgettable, but not bad. This Blackbird is I highly recommend it, especially if you're into true crime. With that said, I will be hitting this with a 95.
Nice.
Solid. I can go next if you want me to. Like I said, I mean, there's not really much more that we forgot. I think we hit everything. Do you guys agree on that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
would
mean,
say
6 episodes is
Yeah, 6 episodes. And that's another thing is when I was doing some research into this, a lot of people on like YouTube comments or reviews, whatever I was reading it on, they're like, I've never watched 6 episodes so fast in my life.
Like
And
I
feel
said, I
like
watched
that's how
it in one
everyone, like,
night.
And yeah, like you flew through it. I flew through it. I like you had to get it done. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it left off on such a good point where you like I would watch it every night before I go to bed. I'm like, fuck. And then I would have to go to bed, wake up, go out through the whole day, and then start it again when I got home. And I was like, damn, it would have been a great weekend watch. But I mean, I highly recommend this to anyone. And like I said, it's gonna be a sleeper, even though it won awards and stuff like that. Like, still a lot of people don't have Apple subscriptions, Apple
Mhm.
TV, even though everyone should. And I mean, I feel like with these shows, like it's still early in Apple TV's career. I feel like, you know, they've only been out for a few, but maybe 3. I don't think it's 5 years, but it's
I think it's
fairly new
3.
still.
Yeah, I want to say 3 or
And
4.
once
You know what
people
though? This
catch
came
on-
out within months of Severance too. Like both
Yeah,
those
that's
came out within
crazy.
this few months of each other.
Yeah, and they're dropping like I sent a couple
a
of
shit ton
trailers.
more.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say they are
Yeah.
dropping like in
And
the
then they
next
got
couple
that
months
good
like
ass Timothy
5
Chalamet
new. Yeah.
Commercial.
where he's
Yeah,
like,
it's funny.
oh, I don't get one. Like he's got to get something
Yeah,
eventually.
man, I would love an Apple TV show.
yeah, like that's a great commercial. Like
Yeah, dude, when he
doesn't
calls
get better
Jason
than that.
Momoa and he's
He's like,
like,
hey man, just
who
got
does
done
it?
wrapping my limited series. But a lot of people are so this is really stupid as I read about. People are expecting a second season.
Fuck you.
Like
How?
I don't
It's a
even know.
limited
How,
series, you fucking
Jimmy
Yeah,
catches
like-
more murders.
it's like when people wanted a Queen's Gambit second season. Like
Yeah, Queen Gambit
it's
too.
just
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
this is
like
good.
it-
This is
it's
good as
perfect for
one
what it
season.
is. And I feel confident giving this a 96 out of 100. Like it's a great TV show, and like I said, the casting is great. Like Roy Liotta, we get Ray Liotta, and it even makes
From
it even
Mob of the
worse
Dead.
now that he's dead. You know,
Yeah.
like it just like it makes his presence on screen even more impactful. The fucking dude, what was his name in Kingsman?
Eggsy.
Eggsy.
Yeah.
Great, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's just fucking.
Dude,
and
I
the
texted you
villain,
guys.
Paul
I-
Walter Heiser kills it too.
I texted you guys
Literally.
with his hair being dyed and he looks more jacked. I'm like, he would play a
He's
pretty good
fucking
young
ripped.
Superman.
He'd be
Yeah, I was like,
great.
he's got the build.
Dude,
But
he'd be
I-
a great ass. I said Silver Surfer, bro.
That'd be
Bring
cool
me
too.
Silver Surfer.
Well, so I read
Yeah.
that James Gunn wants like a 25-year-old dude to play Superman. So and Eggsy's like 36.
That's us.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, that's literally me.
Yeah.
But
They didn't know a thing.
yeah. I mean, Mike could do it, but he's not
Mike.
natty. So I'm natty. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I feel confident giving this a 96, and I will push this on anyone that I talk to that he's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a disappointing watch. Like, even that's why I wanted Brian's take on it fresh, because it's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he agrees.
Yeah. I can I'll go after that because I was holding off the show as long as I possibly could because I heard it was so good and it was like you kind of want to just save something like
Mhm.
to look forward to. I
Talk
guess
about
I
your
don't know.
dad. Tell the fans how quickly your dad.
Oh,
got
my
into
dad,
it.
my dad cranked it out faster than me. I mean, you know, the
Well,
guy
you
yeah,
told
no,
him,
works
what
all
you
day.
said you told him about it the night before, and then he was on episode 4 by the next day.
Yeah, and then that same day he finished it. So
So
and he was texting me theories.
The goat.
I was gonna say that too. That this was one that after I sent to you guys, I was like, this is something my dad would like. I texted him, and 2 days later, he's like, yeah, that Blackbird show, that was really good. And I was like, you finished it? And he was like, yeah, no, I cranked through it. It took me like 2 days, but it was good. And I was like, wow, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is one that you just want to, Aiden, you said it perfect. Like, set aside a weekend and
Yep.
just,
Yeah.
He'll
and just
fly
I-
watch it
through it.
through.
I even
Yeah.
got like Sydney's dad on it. Like I was just telling people about it. I'm
Mhm.
like, go check it out. Cause like
Yeah, and it's funny because I was just thinking this weekend, I was like, I'm gonna sign into my Apple TV and let my fucking parents watch this because this is so good.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. So like when you sell a show like Severance, which I did like Severance more, if you sell a show like Severance, it's kind of hard to explain it where you don't spoil it, or it's just hard to explain it to even an adult or someone our age. Like it's just tough to explain it really,
Mhm.
you know, without spoiling anything or kind of without talking for 5 minutes straight. Whereas Blackbird's like, no, it's about, you know, it's a prison show really.
Yeah,
That's
but
kinda
you
like the
can.
best way to
This is
explain it.
this is a show that there's no like twist or anything. You can
No.
destroy. You can spoil the whole plot, and someone
Yeah.
will still enjoy the show just as much.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. You know, I can definitely see why people binged it. It's quick. It's not too long. I love like 6 episodes was perfect. They didn't have to stretch it out to 8 or 10 or whatever. So yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 94. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for season 2.
All right, hang on really quickly. I have to find my Severance score. All right, cool. I had to see what I'm working with here because I can't put it above Severance because
I gave Severance 100.
I gave Severance 99, so I remember
I
that. I
give it-
couldn't.
I think a 3.
Yeah,
Mike gave it a 96.
Someone looked it up.
I had to
Mike
give
did.
it a
Look, I finish it.
98.
All right, so I'm gonna finish this off here, piggyback off what everybody said.
Yo,
Like I said, if you're into true crime and you're into good TV shows, then this is the fucking show for you. It's really cool seeing the dynamic of a character like Jimmy. Jimmy's a drug dealer who got locked up, and the biggest thing was that he had a fucking AK-47 and a different big ass gun when they raided his house, and with probability they knew that he was more than likely using that to defend his what did he call it? Kept calling it product. He never called it drugs or anything. He just kept calling everything product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy, you know,
Still
he's
got
coming
10
in
years.
from that, but then the reason they want him to go and talk to Larry is because he's just like a smooth talking guy. Like he's someone that you could fuck with. It's just like you don't even know the guy, you have a good conversation, and like that's the end of it. But it's cool that you can see by the second episode, like again, I've said it twice now, the third time when they're talking about the things, then like women being wet and stuff like that, that like Jimmy's tapping into a side of him that he doesn't want to tap into, but has to talk to Larry. Like when Larry basically calls him out for his mom like fucking around on his dad. And he's like, well, we expected it. We can't confirm anything, but like we know that he knows. And
Yeah.
to see the character go through that, and again to portray that in like an acting sense, and for us, it's just like holy shit, like that was super cool to see. You see Larry in here fucking being weird as shit, but then instantly switching up to the killer that we know that he fucking is, and we didn't even talk about it when he's in his cell. That scene made me so uneasy because I was waiting for Larry to pop up and just beat the shit out of Jimmy. And that's when Jimmy fucking goes through the magazines and finds the nudie bag, and he's like, "This doesn't seem like Larry's taste." Opens it up, and he drew all over the women's faces in there, and like talking about like die and kill the whores and stuff like that. And it's just like,
Yeah.
holy shit,
Oh,
bro.
the magazine part was crazy.
Yeah, the magazine part was just so uneasy. And then again, what's the actor that played Larry?
Paul Walter
actor-
Heiser.
Yeah.
Paul Walter Heiser.
Whatever the hell it is. I think
motherfucker
that's it.
killed it in that scene because he's like, I didn't say anything was taken. And he goes, well, I'm saying if you're suspecting someone was in your cell, then somebody took something. He's like, "Whoa." And then they go on this whole fucking tangent, whatever. But no, dude, great fucking show. Thanks for waiting for me so I could finish this up. I was behind by like 10 minutes tonight. But yeah, with that, I can confidently give this show, it's getting a fucking 96 from me.
Okay.
Super fucking good. I'm not gonna put it over Severance because again, Severance is dystopian as fuck, and they're gonna hopefully carry that on for 2 more seasons.
Absolutely.
And two, we got to mention Jimmy crying in his cell.
Oh, after
crazy.
he gets told about the girl,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there, he's like, "Good night, Jimmy," and Jimmy's just fucking sitting there crying.
Ryan, that was a great
bro.
ending to an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when Janice comes to visit him, you know, pretend to be his girlfriend or whatever,
Mm.
and she tells him like, just go in the ICU. Like, we're not even sure if he's the murderer now. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
she was having her
And
doubts.
he's like,
no,
that's
it's
our
her. It's
fucking
him.
guy.
Yeah, that's our guy. Like, he
Because
was
at
so
that point, he
determined.
had saw the magazine.
Yeah. And then when he came out and drew on the table for the map.
Yeah,
incredible
well,
scene, too.
well,
So I
on
had to
top of
say all
that, he
those.
fucking drew the map in blood on his wall because they wouldn't give him a pen, and he didn't
Yeah.
want to forget.
Yeah.
And I love too. Instantly, he gets on because I need a pen, I need a pen, I need a pen, and then just starts drawing it out on the table. Doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't want to wait for paper, nothing.
But the craziest part is when he gets sentenced to life in prison. He's not even like, the detectives are like, hell yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Like, you did a great job. Like, and that's what I love when the detective, the main guy, and Jimmy meet for the first time, because those two didn't meet.
No,
Really,
never.
at the courtroom after, and he just like, he's still not even there. Like, he's not even happy that he's in jail because he's pissed that he didn't get the confessions of where they were buried.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's gonna live with that in his gut for like the rest of his life.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Brian and Janice didn't even get together till like episode 4.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think it was 3.
No, it was early. It was second episode.
well, no, she calls him. She calls him and she's like, "Let's start working together." And I think it was episode
Mhm.
4 when they actually like
Yeah,
meet in
because
person.
Brian didn't even feel comfortable having like someone moved and like trying to get the confession out of him. Because again, Brian did want that on his own because he knew that there was something bigger here. But it's like, all right, well, now we have to go out and do something not as normal.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, in that first episode, I'm like, because Brian was never mentioned in the current year. I'm like, did something happen to Brian or something like that? Like where he ended up going missing or something? Like, why is he not really involved in the case now? I mean, I knew it was the FBI and he's a detective, so it's different. But like, I just felt like they were kind of avoiding trying to have him and Janice in the same room or in the same scene together. So, yeah. But to end the episode off, thank you everyone for listening. Go download, go check us out on YouTube. We will be back on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, for a special Valentine's Day episode with a special guest. So you're gonna have to listen to that. It's The Notebook.
Ooh.
So first romantic movie romance.
My
yeah.
vote's still for
Should be
Bridesmaids.
very
Bridesmaids, yep.
interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So check us out with that. And yeah, thanks guys.
Yep. Like I said, I mean, we get a plug that we're on all platforms. You know, the numbies are
Keep the
just
lights on.
they're real good right now. So
They are actually moving. I
Yep.
texted Josh.
we
out
have
of the blue.
Discord, we get a website. You can look at all our reviews, see if you agree or disagree with us. You know, send a comment on YouTube on how handsome we look on each episode. Tell hey Josh, I like what you did with your hair. Hey hey Brian, nice beanie.
Yeah.
Or hey Andrew, nice shirt, Mike.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yeah, give us some feedback. Feel free to drop a like.
Mhm.
Tell your grandma about us. Tell your sister about us.
Yep.
But yeah,
Your
other
aunt.
than that, we're here twice a week, so we're not going
Yep.
anywhere.
Yep.
Nope.
So
All right, boys.
see you
Yeah.
next week.
See,
See ya.
boys.
Peace out.